Hello everyone, welcome back. We're going to be doing some more moving backwards and shooting drills today. This is the third video on a series of videos that I've done. The difference today is that it's about 20 degrees, okay? Where I'm at here, the elevation is about 2,000 feet above sea level, so it tends to get a lot colder here. So basically, there's going to be more days here that are well below freezing, okay? So what this means is that I need to be working with thick insulated gloves. Now the drills that we've been doing where we're moving backwards, going to our firearm and shooting are going to be even more critical in this type of situation because I need to do one of two things, okay? I either need to pull the glove off in order to get to the firearm, okay? Or in this case, I've selected a firearm, the Beretta 92, which has a big enough trigger guard that I can get the thick insulated finger inside that finger guard. Now that is going to slow me down a little bit, so that's part of the reason why I need to create some more distance and some more time. And the way that's going to look is I'm going to come out of the holster, I'm going to grab the gun here, and that'll help me get that finger in there. And then basically I'll come to this high guard. The reason why I'm coming to this position, because if you're the threat over there, okay, what I want to be doing is moving away from you while being able to shoot in your direction. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of the holster, get my finger in the guard. I'm coming into this position here because what this does is allows the gun to point in that direction while my hips are pointed in that direction, and I can move away from you while still aiming and shooting, okay? So that's the idea here. So working with the thick insulated gloves, basically we need that extra time because we need to do one or two things: either rip the glove off, or we need to get that finger inside the trigger guard, okay? So that's one of the benefits of being able to move away. All right, so we're gonna basically do that dry on this target here. Okay. I'm going to start off in this position here. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what are you doing? Stop, stop, stop. Boom, 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 boom. And then what I'm going to do is when I get to this position here, I'm going to go to full extension, okay? The reason why I'm going to full extension is presumably by the time I've got to this position, the first couple of shots have hit or have stopped the threat. So then I'm going to go to full extension, get the gun out, so I can really get my sights on target, and then at that point decide if I need to shoot again or not shoot again. Okay, one of the most difficult aspects of shooting is going from point shooting back to your iron sights, because what's going to happen is when we start belly to belly with the threat, we're going to basically point shoot that, but as we get further and further away from that, we want to get back on our sights at some point, and basically what I'm doing here is I'm drilling that point being, let's say, around 10 feet away or 15 feet away. At that point, I'm going to turn. I'm going to transition from this position to that position. Okay, and at that point, I've drilled it enough times, so I'm going to go to my iron sights. So even, hopefully that as I'm moving away, I might be able to get my iron sights on target. I may not, but at the point where I go to full extension, basically I know that I'm looking for my iron sights, and I need to make sure that they're on the threat, okay? So let's go through this dry, and then we'll go live. Hey, stop. Boom, 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 okay? Stop, get back. Okay, we'll do a scan this fence. Decock, put the gun back in the holster, okay? So, through all of that, I've got 4 solid hits on the target. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots on the target. So both through, through the point shooting, I was putting effective fire on the threat, and at the same time, when I got to full extension, I was definitely able to put an accurate shot on the threat. Okay, let's do that one more time. Stop, stop, stop. All right, so that was a realistic situation where I went a little bit slower. I had a little bit of a harder time getting my glove in the right position on the gun, but because I was moving away, you know, hopefully I had that, you know, that gave me a little extra time to get to where I needed to be. When it's about 20 degrees outside, the gun is going to be extremely cold. So what happens is if you take your gloves off, okay, and you put your fingers on the cold steel, okay, your hands are going to be really, really cold, and what's going to happen is they're going to numb up, and if you don't have access to a heat source, I mean, you're basically not going to warm them up just by putting them back in the glove. So basically there's the possibility of basically getting frostbitten, okay, because, you know, we want to be anticipating the possibility that we might be outdoors for a couple of hours. We might be, you know, far away from a heat source, from our cabin or from our vehicle, which has, you know, heat. So these are things that we want to think about, and we want to be careful when we're outdoors in really cold weather about taking off the gloves, you know, and allowing ourselves to get cold. Okay, let's do this one more time. Hey, what's going on there? Yo, stop! Stop, get back! Okay, we'll do our scan assess. Okay. The other thing we want to get used to is we want to get used to doing the magazine changes. So after an event like that, I would probably do a tactical reload. I want to make sure I got my magazine, my gun full. Okay, do a press check. Everything's good. And reholster the gun. Okay, so here's some ideas for you guys to try out. Basically, I'm preparing these videos for a class that I'm doing this coming weekend, and it's, you know, basically I expect the weather to be cold. It's going to be about, you know, somewhere between 20 and 25 degrees, and I already warned my students to make sure that they have, you know, layers of clothing and thick gloves. I told them to try and bring a gun that has a thick trigger guard so that they can fit their glove. They can use their gloves with the gun. What I usually find that, you know, until you get people to the range and actually have them go through these exercises, they don't realize the limitations of their guns and their equipment in cold weather. What usually happens in my classes, they either end up using my gloves or a set of my gloves that I keep around, or they end up using my gun, because either their gloves are not thick enough to keep their fingers warm, okay, or the trigger guard on their gun is not big enough to accommodate the thick insulated gloves that are necessary for cold temperature shooting. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.